Hi everyone, welcome to another Monday Make. Now this week I thought we'd go a little bit Christmassy. I can't believe I'm saying that. It seems like it's ages away until Christmas. But I know lots of you are actually doing Christmas setups and Christmas shoots and definitely advertising for it. So I thought we would do something a little bit Christmassy. It was also a kind of a quick project for me because we were really busy with pumpkins last week. So thank you everyone who took part and had a go at making a pumpkin. That was great fun week. Really enjoyed it. So we've done sleepy hats before, but this week I thought we'd do Christmas sleepy hats. Complete with lovely white pom-pom on the end. So they really do look like a kind of Santa hat. So yeah, let's get started. So these ones actually, you can use any fabric for these hats, but I've actually used kind of upcycled and have actually used cardigans and jumpers and things for making these. As I said, we have done it before. So if you go and check out Unit 4 in my DIY Facebook group, under hats and bonnets, I think it is, you'll find all the videos and also the template, because you do need a template for doing this one. So go and look at Unit 4, and that's where you'll find our previous video and the template that you need. So I found a kind of it was an old cardigan, which didn't really fit me anymore, and red isn't really my colour. So that was from one of the sleep hats I made. Then my daughter had a clear out for my daughter's clothes, and she found this gorgeous kind of dress, but it's way too small for her now. So that was perfect for a Christmassy make. And I also found this skirt as well, which actually would have been great for a pumpkin, but could also be good for a sleep hat. Just have to watch the size because it may not be big enough, this one, for doing the sleep hat, but we can see. So I'm going to put you so you can just see what I'm doing. Okay, right, so I found an old t-shirt that my son has grown out of and my daughter really didn't want to wear because it's got tractors on it, and so and it's way too small for her now anyway. This is the template I was talking about that you need to download and print out. It comes in two sections, so print it out on 2 bits of A4 and then kind of cut it out and sellotape these 2 bits together. Now it says here place on fold, so you need to make sure you've kind of folded your fabric or your clothing kind of in half, so this side of your template is against the fold. And then when it's clothing, it's really handy because you get a nice kind of seam ready made for you at the bottom. So make sure you kind of utilize that. If you're using just plain fabric, then do make sure you kind of either glue gun or machine sew or hand sew a seam along the bottom. Right, so I've laid my template out. I have used pins just so it doesn't slip around, just to make life a little bit easier. And make sure the rest of the t-shirt is kind of out of the way, so I'm not cutting out any kind of random tractors. Right, so I'm just going to cut this out quickly. It doesn't need to be too precise, but near enough is fine. You can do this style with literally just a triangle, but I've kind of devised this template because it's got a nice curved top to it, which really does help with getting a nice shape with adding the pom-pom on, and then it naturally will kind of bend over to one side when you use it. I'll also say this is perfect newborn size, so if you're wanting something for a child, then I will just let me know in the comments or in the group if you would like a template for children or toddlers rather than a newborn, and I will work out the perfect size and get you the template for those. So, so this is newborn size. Right, so get rid of that now. Right, so there's the template ready. So I'm going to take off the template. So you do need a glue gun for this as well, unless you're happy with sewing. Right, so there's our template cut out. Now you do need it inside out to start off with. And I just realised, look, I've got some print on there, which I didn't realise that I was there, that was going to be cut out. So I think actually for this fabric, it really doesn't matter if the inside of the t-shirt is going to be the the right side up, what we see. So I'm going to leave it like, I'm going to turn it the other way around. So this is going to be the side that I see. And so we want it to be inside out when we glue it together. Move these hats out of the way. So I'm going to glue, we're going to fix this together, and then I'm going to show you how to make the pom-pom. We're doing, I'm trying out a different way of doing a pom-pom today than what you will see in the video that's already in the group. Right, so making sure, yeah, we are definitely inside out, because that's the side I want to see. And what we're going to do is you're literally going to put a line of glue all the way around the edge, just to glue this edge together. Now make sure you don't go right up to this end here, because we need a gap to be able to put our pom-pom in. So I'm going to start about 1 centimetre from that fold, and I'm literally going to be putting thin line of glue on the edge, pat it down, and then do that all the way along. So if you're happy on a sewing machine or hand sewing, then by all means do that. Just know a lot of you are quite happy using, would rather use a glue gun. And it's, well, it's probably an opinion whether it's quicker or not. It's quite convenient for me to sort of keep using my glue gun as well, rather than getting the machine out. But we will start using the sewing machine at some point. I need to buy a new one first, so that is right. Once I buy a new one, I'll do a whole series on how to use a sewing machine. So I'm gluing kind of a little bit at a time to make sure it doesn't kind of dry out before and cool down before I get to stick it. You want to make sure you don't get any holes. So literally make sure you're gluing right up to where you left off. And make sure you've got a whole line of glue, no gaps in it. Because the gaps really will show once we turn it the right way around. There we go. Right, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to turn it the right way around yet. So we're going to make our pom-poms now. So I was going to go for a traditional white pom-pom. So it really kind of looks like a Santa hat, but you can use any colour you want. I've got a whole range of different yarns here that you can use. I've got really kind of thick, chunky, fluffy wool. And again, another kind of chunky one, not quite as fluffy, down to kind of quite a thin, almost a thick and thin kind of plied yarn, and some kind of ordinary yarn that you can easily kind of get in the shop. So I'm going to go with this thinner one today. So my other hats, these two hats which I made already, this one here was used with a really thick chunky yarn, so it's really come into a really gorgeous, soft, kind of fluffy and really dense ball, compared to this one, which is a thinner yarn, which is a bit more maybe more detail to it, and because it's kind of looser, there's not as many kind of threads in it. So it depends on your kind of style or that you like, or it depends on kind of what you got available, really. So for this, we need a piece of paper, or like I've got here, an envelope. And we're going to wind the wool around this envelope, which is going to make our pom-pom. Now, the width of your paper is going to determine how big your pom-pom is. So I don't want it that big, because that is really quite big. So I'm actually going to fold this envelope in half, because that is about the size I want my pom-pom. Then it's a case of just winding your wool around the envelope. Doesn't matter if you overlap, and literally kind of go in a line, so you're not making a kind of big kind of bulk of it in one place, because that doesn't matter at the moment. And you're just going to go round and round. Again, I should really be counting how many I'm doing so I can let you know, but it's kind of pure guesswork as to how many I'm going to go around. But you'll be able to see, you can tell kind of how chunky it's going to look once you've kind of got enough around it. Keep going, because this is quite a thin yarn. You're going to need quite a bit. So if you shuffle it up like a little bit, you can start to see kind of how bulky that's going to be. So we're going to need quite a bit more. Doesn't matter if your paper starts to kind of bend and bow. That's not going to make any difference, as long as you're not really kind of scrunching it up, because that's going to affect the size of your pom-pom in the end. So I think the technique we used last time, I think, was on a piece of card. So by all means use a piece of card as well, and that won't kind of buckle. But I thought this was a bit more fun, just using an old envelope that you got lying around. Right, so if I squish it all up, I can see that that is starting to look quite good. So yeah, I think the knack is to just make sure you're not pulling too tight, that you're pulling the envelope, squishing it in the middle. Right, I think we'll go with that. So I'm going to trim that end off. Right, now we need a random length. And I'm going to post that underneath and reach for it the other side. And then we're going to tie that in a knot. I'm going to do kind of a double or even triple knot. So I've tied it round once, how you would normally do, and then I'm going to go round again and round again. And then I'm going to pull as tight as you can. Oh, without it breaking would be good. Not like that. Don't pull it so tight that it breaks. And then we're going to put a blob of glue on that knot, and then tie it in a knot again. I've got just enough left. There we go, and then trim the end off. Right, then we're going to do the same on the other side. So again, pass it through. Actually, this one needs to be a lot longer, because we're going to tie it then round the other side again once we're taking it off our envelope. So make sure you've got quite a long length for the second time that you're tying a knot. So again, I'm going to go through once, twice, 3 times, just to make sure it's really secure. We don't want any of these yarns, also cut around the edge, you don't want any of them falling out, and the gluing it, kind of the knot together, helps as well. I don't want our pom-poms falling apart, or the bits, because often you can pull kind of on the ends and they just kind of pull out, which is not great. So then lots of kind of glue on that, and then tie it again. Right, now I'm going to take it off my piece of paper. We're going to fold it back around to the other side and tie it in a knot again. Again, another bit of glue. Okay, right, and make sure you don't cut these bits because this is what we need to thread it through our sleeping hat and to kind of fix it in place. So don't chop these ones. Right, next we're going to find all the loops and you've got to go around and just trim all those loops all the way around to start getting the shape of our pom-pom. I love making pom-poms, they're really great fun. You can just kind of, it's quite a relaxing kind of task, especially once you've got past this bit, you get to trim it to be all neat and tidy. I love doing that bit. So make sure you've got all the loops because some of them can get missed. There we go. Right, now we can start trimming it. I've got a nice little bin I'm going to cut my bits into. So I'm not going to kind of fluff it out into a ball quite yet. I'm going to go around the edges first to try and get it as equal and kind of neat as possible. So keep those ties out the way. Make sure you don't chop those. And then one side, then the other side. Right, now I'm going to fluff it out into a ball. Right, what you can do is sometimes you get these kind of little gaps, and you can see that. Kind of gaps in here. If you put a bit of glue kind of right into the middle and then squish it into your ball shape, it can just again help with not falling apart once we're finished. So my main idea to just sit in an evening, make lots of pom-poms, and then you're kind of ready to make your sleepy hats. Right, so I'm going to fluff it all up. Then I'm going to trim. This is the bit I love. Just trimming it to make it look as neat and tidy as you want it to be. You might want to leave it kind of a bit messy looking. But there are some long bits which really do need trimming on mine. Okay, so we have one beautiful pom-pom. Right, so now I'm going to take our sleepy hat again, and what we're going to do is we're going to take these ties, and I want you to kind of put your hand up right through the middle of your pom-pom, and you want to then find the ends through that hole in the top. Push your fingers with the yarn, there we go, until you see the ends, there we go. And then pull your pom-pom through right near to the top as you can. Now, this might be where you find you have a hole, where I found one, so I'm going to quickly put a bit of glue on there to fix that. So it might be a good idea just to, if you run your hand on the inside and kind of stretch your seam apart, you can see if you've got any gaps, which I think we're all right now. I know there's a bit there that wasn't very good with it. There we go. All right, now we can turn it the right way around. So your pom-pom is now going to poke out to be on the right side. Okay. But make sure you don't pull it out because you want your ties to still be on the inside. Make sure you push right through to the top so you've got the whole of that end kind of poking through. It's neat and tidy. There we go, so it's coming nearly done now, it's looking good. All right, next, the last thing we've got to do is just fix this last bit. So obviously got a gap at the top. So make sure you pull through all the ends. And then what I'm going to do is literally put a blob of glue down the end to kind of secure the fabric folded there. And then I'm going to pull our ends through again. So it's the pom-pom is literally going to be as far kind of down, the fabric's like as far into the pom-pom as it can go. And then again, I'm going to put a blob of glue on the pumpkin now, just to fix the fabric in place just a little bit. Squish it into the top. And there we go. You have a beautiful Santa hat. And that looks so cute. So there we go. Hopefully you find that nice and easy. Yeah, drop me any questions into the group if you have any questions. Yeah, so yeah, hopefully I'd like to see lots of Christmas hats on your newborns and your kind of children's and your setups very soon, I guess, as we lead up to Christmas. Otherwise, have fun making them for Christmas Day and your kids can wear them and have fun. So yeah, I will see you next week for another Monday Make. Bye.